All right. So now that you can all hear me and see me, that's the most important thing. We're going to get started now. First of all, I wanted to tell you something about, so very briefly about me, because some of you know me. I recognize some of your names. I've met some of you, either in on workbook sessions, etc., or in conferences. But if not, then my name's Alastair Grant. I'm from London in England, and I have lived in Argentina. I've been living in Buenos Aires for 10 years now. And at the beginning, I mean, to be honest, my Spanish isn't very good now, but at the beginning, I had real problems with Spanish, and I felt very stupid most of the time when trying to communicate in Spanish. And one of the problems I had, I think, was that I did originally have some Spanish classes at the beginning, but they wanted to talk about things like, well, learning all the conjugations of verbs and things like that. And I was good at that. I was okay at that. The problem was that actually speaking to people, pronouncing things wasn't so easy for me, unfortunately. And for example, I remember very clearly one of my first days in Buenos Aires trying to explain to a porter of where I was staying that I needed the key. And I had read in my little phrase book that the word for key, well, in Spanish, it's in South American Spanish and River Plate Spanish, it's llave, which is like L-L-A-V-E. Obviously, an English person reading that would see the word as lave, unfortunately. And as I was trying to explain the word lave to this guy, he really wasn't understanding what I was talking about at all. So this also made me think of this when I was trying to help students as well with learning English. So that's exactly what this is about today, learning strategies. Now, I'm not just going to tell you what they are, because that will be boring and not so interesting for any of you. Instead of which, I'm going to start with a quote, which you have to complete yourselves. Here it is. You should be able to see it on your screen now. So this is called How Can We Help Our Students Feel Less Like Alastair, which is very stupid in another language. I'm going to read it to you, and by the time I finish reading, I want you to try and finish the quote. Successful learning does not depend solely on the learner. Teachers need to feel a personal sense of something, a belief that their behavior can make a difference to their learning. So you see that there's a missing word there. And I'd like you to try and fill it in. And if you've got no idea, don't worry, because I'm going to give you some clues as we go. But what do you think that missing word is? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 letters. Cannot see anything, says Daphne. Oh dear. I hope you're able to now. There's a bit of a delay between me putting the slide up and it coming through. Tell me if you can complete that word. Can't see anything. Oh dear, that's not good. Why is this not happening? Right, hang on. Let's see why. See what's going on. Okay. Right, so can you see anything now? You should be able to see the second slide with any luck. Please tell me if you can or not. No. Okay. Not yet. Right, okay, hold on. Okay, right, let's see if you can only see me. Right, hold on. You can see, but the voice is not clear. Listen, apart from seeing me, can you see any slide at all, or is it only me that you can see right now? Only me. No slide at all. Right, just the first slide. Okay, let's see what's going on, shall we? Why is this happening? Okay. Right. I'm gonna play with the technology a little bit. and see if it changes anything. If not, we may have to do this without the PowerPoint, which will be fine. We can do that. Yes, that one. How can we, Alejandra? So has anything changed, everybody? Can you see anything apart from me? Maybe oh dear. Yeah, maybe I will. Not yet. Right. Okay. Hang on. All right. I'm gonna nothing apart from me. Right. Listen. I'm gonna keep playing with this, and I want you to tell me if you can see it in a second. And if you do tell me. Only me. Only me. Only me. Right. Why is that happening? I wonder. Okay. You can see. Ah, Cecilia can. Oh, the slide has changed. Maria Marta says, good. You and the slide, right. Okay. Some of you can, some of you can't, right? How strange. Try refreshing it as well. Oh dear. Okay. All right, all right. Well, I don't know why that's happening in that case. Listen, what I'm going to do is, for those of you who can see, okay. For those of you who can't, don't worry. This session is being recorded, so what will happen is that you'll be able to see this at another time. Yeah, no, I have clicked on the presentation. For some reason, it's not working. I don't know why. Very, very strange. Let's see. You'll have one more go at this. All right. Okay. Well, look, like I said, I'm going to carry on, and I'll tell you all of this, what it's about. Sorry for a second, okay? And well, let's carry on. Well, look. Anyway, I'm going to finish this quote for you, okay? And even if you can't see it, don't worry about it. So it says, successful learning does not depend solely on the learner. Learners need to feel a personal sense of, and there's a blank that I put, a belief that their behavior can make a difference to their learning. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to put the missing word or part of it in the chat box. So hopefully you may be able to work out what it is from there. Okay. Right, there it is. That's the missing word. So students need to have a personal sense of that thing. You've got A at the beginning and Y at the end. I see that some people are writing, which is great. Okay. No, I don't know, Daphne. It's very strange that you can't see the slides. I'm sorry about that. I don't know why that's happening. What I'm going to do, like I say, is I'm going to carry on. This is being recorded anyway, so you will be able to see the recording of it. It's a shame that you can't see the slides, but we'll be okay. We'll be okay. Right. Listen. So listen, guys. That message that I put in the box that begins with A and ends with Y. I'm going to tell you what it is. No, it's working on Patricia's mobile. Maybe everyone should switch to their cell phones. Okay, so look, the missing word is agency. Agency is very important words in terms of learning strategies because it's this, like the quote says, I'm going to read it to you again. I know you can't see it. That the learners need to feel a sense of agency, which is a belief that what they do in the class and outside of the class can make a difference to their learning. So I mean, it's not just all about what we are having to do with them and helping them as teachers all the time. It's also up to them as well, but they need to feel like they've got this sense of agency. Okay, great. So how does that work? Well, look, I've put up a slide now. I hope you can see it. If not, you will be able to see it on the recording. That's got Rebecca Oxford back in 1990 talked about 6 different types of learning strategies. First of all, just a quick check. Can you see this slide yet? There's like 6 different learning strategies on it. If not, don't worry, we're going to keep going anyway. But just want to check whether you can see it or not at the moment. People are writing, let's see. Chan, 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 chan. Okay, well, I'll wait for you to just to let me know about that. I see there's a lot of people writing in the box right now, but so that you know, I'm going to read them to you anyway. There are 6 learning strategies that Rebecca Oxford talks about. Let's see. Right, okay, everyone's saying no. All right. Oh, on your iPhone. Well, Selena, you have an iPhone, so maybe that's why. In any case, I'm going to tell you what they are. We've got cognitive, mnemonic, metacognitive, compensatory, and social and affective as well. All right. So, and again, like I say, as soon as this is finished, you'll be able to see all of these on the recording anyway. So, okay. So, what are they? What are those 6 strategies? What do they mean? Cognitive, mnemonic, metacognitive, compensatory, social, and affective. Well, let's see. Let's have a look at them. Thing is, they all mean different things, and what I'm going to do, instead of getting you to do a matching exercise that I was going to, because it looks like that tech's not going to work for us, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through one of them each at a time. The idea of this is to show you what Rebecca Oxford is talking about with these learning strategies, and also to give you an activity that you can be able to take into the classroom and use relating to those learning strategies. So just in case, I've put a slide up for the first learning strategy, which is cognitive. And the idea of a cognitive learning strategy is to enable the learner to manipulate the language and help them understand it. Now, what does that mean then, manipulating language exactly? Well, what I'd like you to do, I've just put another slide up. Just tell me if you can see this slide. I've put, it's a picture, this slide. Again, if you can't, don't worry about it. We'll work it out. Oh, you can see the picture. Great. This is fantastic. Hooray. Woo. Brilliant. All right, we're back in business. Okay, so look, what is the woman? What's the character? Yeah, good idea, Maria. What is the woman in the picture doing? What kind of, because it looks like she's about to do some exercise, doesn't it? But what right, exactly, Patricia's actually said it. She's stretching, yeah. And she's about to do some work at the gym by the look of it. But yeah, she's stretching. Now, this is what I'm going to get you guys to do right now. I'm going to show you, let's see. I just want to make sure that I can do this so that it all changes in sync. Right. Now, this is called sentence stretching, and I've put on this slide, you can see at the top of the slide, you should be able to see a sentence with words in different colors. Hopefully you can see that. You can. Great, Maria Belen. Okay, because it says at the top of the slide, it says a teacher attended a Macmillan webinar. And this is a cognitive strategy or an activity that we can use to employ a student's cognitive strategies. It's called sentence stretching. What I'm going to ask you to do, and this is going to have to be done very quickly, but you've got this basic sentence, a teacher attended a Macmillan webinar. And what I'd like you to do is try and make this sentence as long as you can. Now, I'm only going to give you like 30 seconds or so to do it. What you need to do, you see there, it says verbs, nouns, adjectives, etc. So an example would be the sentence underneath that says, an English teacher attended a Macmillan webinar. But the idea is that the basic sentence has to be the same, but you have to try and make it as long as you possibly can in about 30 seconds, okay? You can add as many words as you possibly can, but you've only got about 30 seconds to do it. I'm going to use my magic cell phone to time you now, okay? So 3, 2, 1, go. And I'm going to continue talking as you do that. Now, were you my students in class, what I'd be getting you to do is exactly this. And what's good about this is you've got the basic sentence structure there, but you're getting them to manipulate language, which Ferdinand de Saussure tells us is like the basic way that we understand any language is with the syntax of it in a sentence. It can make sense or not make sense just because of the order of the words. And it's also very good for them in English to see word order. It's not, I mean, here in Argentina, it's sometimes it's the same, sometimes it's different. With questions, it's different. The order of adjectives is different as well. So this is very good for them to see the correct word order of sentences in English. Also, that they can continue adding verbs, nouns, adjectives, pronouns, articles to it, etc., and you can just make the sentence get bigger and bigger and bigger. You'll probably need some relative clauses as well. Right, so look, I can see people are writing in our chat box, and our 30 seconds is definitely up. Oh, look at this. Look what we've got. So I'm going to read out Anna Carolina's. An English teacher not only attends a Macmillan webinar, but also takes profit of Alastair's knowledge. Great. An English teacher attending Macmillan webinar. The slides did not properly unfortunately. Yeah, that's a really good one. Sorry, that was good. A talented English teacher attended a wonderful and enriching Macmillan webinar. Good, good. Okay, great. You've got exactly the right idea. Good. And that's a particularly topical one. Great. Oh, and drank some coffee while doing so. I have some coffee here actually as well. All right, great. Okay, so let's move on. Brilliant. I'm delighted that you all got that. That's fantastic. So look, again, that was cognitive, and that was about manipulating or getting the students to be able to manipulate the language themselves, to get their hands on it and do different things. All right, Alyssa, give it a second, and it'll probably change in a little while. Right, just because of time, I'm going to speed up a bit because we're a bit late starting. So look, the next one in Rebecca Oxford's 6 learning strategies is called a mnemonic learning strategy. And this is to enable the learner to retrieve information, okay? Now, very, very important. Apparently, you need to see, for example, a new word at least between 7 and 14 times in context before you even remember a new word in a language, which probably explains some of my challenges with Spanish, I should think. Okay, well, Gerardo and Elisa, I'm not sure why it's being slow, but it will come eventually. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try something else clever with the technology to see what I can do. Okay, all right, so look, if you can see the new slide, then it will tell me if you recognize what is on the slide. Okay, there's silence in the chat box at the moment, which suggests that maybe you can't see the slide anyway. Let's see. Oh, there's a couple of people typing. Ah, right. Yes, you can. Woohoo. Right. Yeah. Word formation. Exactly what it is. Now, when I started teaching first certificate about 10 years ago, I thought I was being very clever by saying to students things like I'm going to show you on the next slide now. I would tell them, like, advantage is a noun. And they would say, a what? What's a noun? And this would happen with everything, all parts of speech. So I'd say, yes, well, obviously, no, here in the word formation exercise, you have a verb and you have to transform it into a noun. And they wouldn't know what a verb or an adjective was. And I realized that I had the same problem when I started teaching, I must admit. You know, my knowledge of language was very, very, very basic, I have to say. So I was thinking, okay, what can I do in order to help them with this? Now, because of the animation issues that we're having, what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you a mnemonic. And the first thing I'm going to ask you to do is just tell me whether this mnemonic works. But before that, right. First of all, just to train you for this mnemonic a little bit, I see what's happening. It is working, but it's going slowly. Right. Tell me if you can see a slide at the moment with some bread and tea and soup and wine on it. You can. Good. That is very good news. I'm glad to hear it. Okay, so look. Before I show you this mnemonic, okay, Tanya, it will, I'm sure, come through. Hopefully, any second it will come through. Before I show you the mnemonic, I'm going to do with you an exercise that I do quite frequently with students, both in school and at the university that I work at in Argentina, in Buenos Aires as well. And I'm going to get you to do something now. Oh, good, Daphne, great. I'm going to get you to do something now that the good thing is that no one's going to see you do this because you're all either at work or home, or, well, they might see you if you're watching this on your cell phone on the bus or something. But I'm going to get you to join with me as we repeat this little exercise before I show you the mnemonic. So, and if I'm the only one who does it, then that's okay. What I'd like you to do, though, is take your fingers, actually, no, let's do it with hands, and clap, just like you used to do at kindergarten. Just like this, okay? Now, on the slide, like I say, you should be able to see some bread, tea, soup, wine. And what I would do is get you to add some different words, some function words between the content words. So, some bread and then some tea and then some soup and then some wine. And if the animations are working properly, I would like build that up with you. So, for example, bread and tea and soup and wine. Some bread and some tea and some soup and some wine. Some bread and then some tea and then some soup and then some wine. And there's another one as well. Some more bread and then some more tea and then some more soup and then some more wine. English, as we know, is a stress-timed language. We tend to emphasize the content words and nouns, the verbs, adjectives, adverbs. And all the function words we squeeze in the middle. It's a process called accommodation. And it's very useful. In fact, Jennifer Jenkins says that when we are listening to another speaker, the most basic way we apparently understand what someone is saying is by sentence stress. It's not by the way we pronounce the words, it's not whether we use the right grammar, etc., etc. It's sentence stress. So this is a very good exercise for students for that reason. Okay, so now look, I'm going to show you the mnemonic. By the way, before I do, I'm going to put the word mnemonic in the chat box, and I want you to tell me what you understand by that word. What is a mnemonic? By the way, if you don't know, really doesn't matter. That's why we're here. Memory, yeah, exactly. it's from the Greek word mnemosine, which was the goddess of memory, apparently. So we are Maria Belen, Patricia, Maria Veronica, all put memory exactly. It's all to do with memory, and a mnemonic is a way to get people to remember things. And this is a way, yeah, exactly. This is a way of getting students to remember verbs, nouns, adjectives, adverbs, what they are. Again, because of the animation, what I'm going to do is show you the whole thing. So wait, here it comes, here it comes. Where is it? There it is. Right. Now, any second now, you should be able to see it. Where is it? Where is it? Okay. Right. Please tell me if on your slides or on your screens you can see a mnemonic, which we are going to do together. Do let me know. Yes, good. Glad to hear it. Yes, yes. Hooray, good. All right. So, nope. Okay, Cynthia, I'm sure, and Monica, it will come very shortly. There is a bit of a delay for some reason. All right. So look, I'm going to go through it. And I'm going to do it with the clapping, just like we did with the bread, tea, soup, wine. Okay? All right. I'm sure, guys, very shortly that it will come through. I'm not sure quite why it's taking as long as it is, but I'm sure it will. Okay, so I'm going to sometimes yes, sometimes no. So I'm going to leave this on the screen for a while, okay? Because I'm sure that at any minute it'll come through. So I hope that most of you are either on your own right now as you are watching this webinar, and you're not in front of a lot of other people, so that you're not going to embarrass yourself by doing this with me, okay? But in any case, I want you to do it with me. So it's the same rhythm as the last one. Here we go. A noun is a name of things that exist, like sheep, banana, or Taylor Swift. Adjectives are words that describe a noun, like Taylor, that's a horrible sound. Verbs are actions being done. When Taylor sings, so much fun. And adverbs show how things act up. She sings well, Alastair, so please shut up. Okay, so again, the idea of that is you've got noun, adjective, verb, adverb, and all their functions are there. Obviously, it's a silly invented rhyme, but it gets the point across nonetheless. No? All right. And again, like I say, as the session's being recorded, you know, you'll have access to that as well. Right now, moving swiftly on. Let's see. I'm just a little concerned about time. Right now, on your screens now, please tell me what you can see on your screens at the moment. Hopefully, you can see a short text from a course book with any luck. You can. Buzzer text, yes, good. Hooray, it's working well now, great. A little late, but it works. Okay, good. So listen, this is the idea. I'm going to need my magic cell phone for this. I've really noticed this quite a lot recently, not only as a teacher, but observing all the teachers I have done in my career here as well, is getting students to engage with texts can be quite hard. Like, I'm not sure that, for example, that getting them to read out in class is such a great idea if they're seeing the text for the first time, because they're just concentrating on the pronunciation. They're not really concentrating on the comprehension of the text. And they're often in texts, in coursebook texts, you will see that they use them either to introduce different grammar or I should say, vocabulary as well. And this one is just such a text. It's got different words about cooking, eating food, etc. in it. And the idea is this. You're not going to read the whole thing. In fact, I'm only going to show you the first couple of sentences from the text in a second. In fact, here they are. What I'm going to do is this. You have got, well, it says 30 seconds here, but given the delay, maybe I'll give you a minute. You've got 30 seconds to look at this text. In a minute, I'm going to hide the text from you. And then as I go, I'm going to change about 5 of the words that are in the text. And if you are my students in class, what I would get you to do is, if you remember that I've changed one of the words, I want you to go, make a buzz noise, like in a game show. In this case, you can write buzz in the chat box or something like that. Like buzz. And then you need to tell me which word it is that I've changed, because I've changed, I'm just going to check, but I've changed 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 words in the text. So I'm going to leave this for another 15 seconds or so, and I'm going to look at my cell phone to see the text that I've changed. Okay. Right. I'm going to read it to you as well. Remember the anchovy and tomato pizza that you created? For most of us, it takes a long time to learn how to make something tasty, but not for Remy Smith. Still a teenager, she's already creating fantastic dishes. She's also becoming well known for her Italian salad dressing, which is delicious. And with her knowledge of social media, she's making sure that everyone knows she's there. Right, you've now had your at least a couple of minutes to study that text, so I'm going to make it disappear now. Now, I want to check that you can't see the text anymore. Is that right? Can you still see the text? I hope not. I hope you can't see the text. I hope you can just see something that says buzzer text in the middle of the screen. Okay, can't. Good, Natalia. All right. Right, just that. Good. Okay, perfect, perfect, perfect. All right, so here we go. I'm now going to, I'm going to leave my cell phone there. I'm going to read the altered version to you, okay? So listen, like I say, every time you hear me that I've changed one of the words, I want you to write buzz in the chat box, or no, or something. All right, here we go. So, remember the artichoke and tomato pizza that you created? For most of us, oh, right, we've already got a buzz. Right, okay, good. What should that be? Not artichoke, what should it be? Anchovy, very good, Anna. Yeah, great, guys. Okay, very good. Okay, we continue. For most of us, it takes a long time. So I'll put it here so you can see me. For most of us, it takes a long time to learn how to make something delicious, but not for Remy Smith. Oh, buzz. No, good. Buzz, buzz, buzz. All right. All right, what should it be? Not delicious. What should it be? Tasty. Very good, Anna. Excellent. All right. All right, good. I think we'll just do one more of these and then we should continue. Okay, I'll carry on, but not for Remy Smith. Still a child, she's already creating fantastic dishes. Oh, buzz, buzz, buzz. Yes, yes, good. What should it be? Teenager. Great, Alejandra and Daphne. Great, great, great. Wonderful. All right, look. In fact, I'm going to show you, just because of time, I'm going to show you the altered text. I also changed Italian to French, and I changed everyone to many people as well. But this is quite fun in the classroom, because you've got all of them going bzzz, because they know that you've changed a word, and it adds an element of competition to it. I think for example, where I work, there's like an English workshop in the afternoons, and it's after lunch, and they're tired, and so getting them to read when you know you need to read with them can be quite challenging. But like trying to gamify a text will make it more engaging for them. Great, good guys. Okay, so let's move on. So that was mnemonic. Now, you should be able to see, hopefully on your screens, a slide that says compensatory, to enable the learner to make up for missing knowledge. I hope that you can see that. So again, the idea of this is for, when there's bits that the learners don't know, ways around being able to say a word or use an expression, whatever. You guys have probably seen this a lot in your exams, with your speaking exams with your students of any kind. Students tend to freeze if they can't find a word. and getting them to try and find a way around that is like a real communication strategy for them, a real learning strategy. So look, I'm going to go straight to this main slide here so that you can see what I'm talking about. Right, you should be able to see a slide now which says taboo on the top left. Can you see that? I hope you can. Chen, Chen, Chen. Everybody's writing, great. Oh, you all started writing, you stopped. Oh, yes, you can. Yeah. No, I can't. It'll come through. It'll come. I'm sure it will come. Right. So look, listen. Here's how it works. I'm going to speed up a bit. So instead of desperately either freezing or just desperately trying to find the word that they can't think of, using expressions like it's the thing which, it's the place where, it's the person who, and this is a very good game to play with students. Taboo. And this can really work with any lexical set that you think of. I mean, the ones I've chosen here are, well, you can see I've got an example here. So the word for my students to guess would be London. And because you're going to be my students now, I'm not going to be able, I wouldn't be able to say the words England, capital, or city. So I'd have to try and describe London without saying those three words. Okay, that will be the idea with taboo. Now we're going to do this together just for a minute, and I'm going to decide which one I want to do with you. Okay, right, here we go. Now you should just be able to see only on your screen taboo words to guess and taboo words, hopefully. So and I am looking at the word that I have to describe to you. Okay, and I've got three words that I'm not allowed to use. Right, so this is a thing which our students love. They all have one. They all try to use them in class all the time, which is really annoying. In fact, in a lot of schools, they are banned from using these things, but they're completely obsessed with them. And to be honest, I was using one earlier on to oh, good, mobile phones. That was easy. Great. So look. Yeah, that was correct. Now, in this case, I wouldn't have been able to use the word call or text or photos. So it's great if you can do this with students, and it's so easy to make this. In fact, you can get the students to make this game yourselves, like any lexical set that you're studying. Let's say, I don't know, sports or something like that. Let's say football, and the students need to write down one team that they can't mention, but obviously the word football, and maybe, I don't know, match, or in our case here in Argentina, Boca or River, the two great rival football teams. Okay, so just because of time, I'm going to move on a bit quickly, and that was looking at a compensatory strategy to help students if they can't find a word. Playing a game like this, again, Henry Widdowson said that games are so important in class because it makes it more fun for the students. And why is that more fun? The reason, why is that important? It's important because it makes it more enjoyable for them. And it sounds like a really basic thing to say, but lowering the students' affective filters is so important so that they get engaged with it. Okay, so the fourth one, hopefully you should be able to see a slide that says metacognitive on it, which is what we're going to look at now, which is enabling the learner to identify useful learning strategies. So this is learning strategies that the things that work for the specific learner. Okay, good, Selena, that's great. And what I'm going to show you now is the mnemonic again that we were looking at earlier on. Now, I would, if we had time, I'd be dividing you into two teams, okay? Tadeo, I'm sure very shortly it will come up, all right? I would be dividing you into Team A and Team B, but just because of time, I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is this. I'm going to ask you to tell me Just in the first 2 lines, don't worry about the rest of them for now, all right? In the first 2 lines, again, this is just doing this because of time, how many syllables are there in the first line and in the second line? So the number of syllables in line 1 and the number of syllables in line 2. And I'm going to read them to you again, okay? A noun is a name of things that exist, like sheep, banana, or Taylor Swift. Just those 2 lines. So how many syllables in line 1 and how many syllables in line 2? Right, I can see there's many people writing the box. That's great. By the way, there is a pedagogical point to this, I promise, and I will tell you as soon as I've seen some of those numbers. Wow, look at this, Roxana. 9, first line 10. Monica, you can't see anything. Hopefully very shortly you'll be able to. Right, I'm going to leave it for 10 more seconds, see if you've got any other answers. I'm going to say it to you again, by the way. No, I'm not going to say it to you again. I'm going to let you do this yourselves. Right, second line 9, 10 in the first. Right, okay, now look. I'm going to show you all the syllables in the lines now. Here we go. Agree with Daphne. Okay, good. Yeah, she tends to be right at the moment. Good. All right, so there you go. These are the amount of syllables you've got in all the lines. Now, again, if this were in class, I would get you to do all 8 of the lines, okay? I'd get you to do all 8 of the lines, but because we've got relatively short time, I'll just do lines 1 and line 2. How did you know the amount of syllables in each of those 2 lines? What did you do? What was the process that you did to do that? Right. Anna Pajeres, Selena, good. Anna has, yeah, basically just said, this is brilliant. In fact, right, all of you have said, you've just saved me a lot of work, which is great, because you've all said exactly what I was about to say. So doing that, you read them aloud and you clapped. And by doing that, I'm going to go back to what Anna said a second ago, if I can find it, blah, blah, where is it? Counting, reading, clapping, right, I can't see it, but it doesn't matter. You were all reading aloud. You were all saying it out loud. I think that's the first thing that Anna said, that you're all saying it out loud. Now, you've got to do that. You've got to repeat it to yourself in your head. In doing that, you are drilling the whole poem to yourself. And again, if we had time, we'd do the whole thing. But by doing that, you're drilling the entire thing inside your head. And I'm going to prove to you in about 5 minutes that you're going to be able to remember this entire thing. So quite often with students, by drilling, we would get them to say everything once and then twice and maybe 3 times, etc. Try doing it in this way. Just get them to count the amount of syllables in a line. And then they have to repeat it to themselves again and again and again in their own heads. And they are auto-drilling, as it were. It has quite an impressive effect when you then get them to say the phrase afterwards. So what could you use this with? Think about things like conditional sentences, for examples, especially with the difference between the, here in Buenos Aires, in Argentina, the difference between Spanish and English sentence stress, okay? So, yeah. If I had known you were coming, I'd have baked a cake. There's some quite clear stress there. So if they have to count the syllables, if I'd known you were coming, I would have baked a cake. Again, they're drilling it themselves inside their heads. Okay, so that was a metacognitive strategy. Now, we're on to number 5, social strategies now, which are to enable the learner to work with others to understand, okay? So, what we're going to do is this. This is a social strategy. This is an activity that the students must work together in order to be able to complete this task. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you again with the animation issue. I'm going to show you the whole slide. Here it comes. Now, what you should be able to see is a slide that says Moon Survival. Hopefully you can see in the top left-hand corner. Good, right. So listen, here is the situation, guys. I'm going to read it to you as well as you reading it yourselves. You are a member of a space crew scheduled to meet the other spaceship on the light side of the moon. But your own ship was forced to land 200 miles from the meeting point. Most of the equipment was damaged. Sorry, most of the equipment on board was damaged, but 6 items are still okay after the landing. Now, you must rank them in terms of their importance for your crew to allow everyone to reach the meeting point. So you're in trouble. You've got to walk 200 miles on the light side of the moon, and I'm now going to show you the list of things that you have got from the spacecraft. Here they are. Now you should be able to see you've got parachutes, map of the stars, box of matches, food and water, 2 oxygen tanks, they both weigh 100 kilograms each, and a first aid kit. Now, your job, hopefully again, if you can see that on the slide, your job is to rank them in order of from the least important to the most important, okay? So what I'd like you to do, I can see some of you are typing already, which is amazing. So again, let's go with what is least important and then most important. Now, for example, Selena's put food and water. Now, I'm presuming that's her most important thing, but which is okay. But think about putting, like, for example, like I say, least to most. So, for example, you might think, for example, know that the first aid kit is the least important. You can put that first, and then the next one, and then the next one, and the next one, etc. So I'm going to give you a cup. Look, this is good what you're putting. So box of matches, least important. Everyone seems to agree on that. Map of the stars, Maria Belen has put. By the way, were you my students, I'd be getting you to work in groups in order to do this. I'd be giving you a time limit as well of like 5 minutes to rank these. And obviously the students must communicate with each other to rank them. There is no other way of doing it. This is a really good, encouraging learning strategy for them. Right, so what do we got? No oxygen. Right, yeah, that is important. Oh, look. Oh, I like what Eunice has done, which is EDFCBA. If I'd thought of that, that's what I have asked you to do. Another third conditional sentence. Right. Okay, so look, I'm going to show you the how NASA would rank these second. Okay. Yeah. All right. So let's see. Beatrice has done the same thing. So let's have a look. Let's have a look at what NASA said. Okay. Chin. Where's the slide? There it is. Here it is. Oh, it's coming up now. Hopefully you can see that. If you can't, don't worry. I'm going to read it to you. So see how this compares with what you thought. So their number 6, their last one, their least useful one was box of matches. Obviously, no oxygen on the moon, as somebody said earlier on. So no point in having any matches. Then first aid kit. Then parachutes. NASA would say, under the circumstances, parachutes would be very important because you're on the light side of the moon, and they'll be very useful to covering or shading you, I should say, from the sun. Map of the stars, your primary navigation tool. Food and water, and then finally, without the oxygen tanks, you're going to be in serious trouble. So that would be number 1. And by the way, the fact that they weigh 100 kilograms each is a bit of a red herring. Obviously, the gravity on the moon is only, I think it's a 1/6 of the Earth's, so it really wouldn't be heavy at all to be carried. Okay, like I said again, this learning strategy, social learning strategy, they've got to work together in order to figure out the ranking of the of these items from the spacecraft. Great, guys. Okay, so look, that was number 5. We're now on to the last one, the effective learning strategy. Hopefully, you should be able to see a slide that says effective, with a little boy and his pet tiger dancing. And it also says what are effective learning strategies. So they are to enable the learner to lower any barriers to learning. So I mentioned earlier on Henry Widdowson. I'm going to show you a quote from him now before we move on. Hopefully you should be able to see that. Do fun and games in class mean no serious learning? This is what Henry Widdowson says. Teaching is interactive and depends on establishing rapport with learners. He says that people are more likely to take note of things if they find them amusing. And a lot of work in our field would have more impact on teachers if it were more entertaining. So Henry Widdowson is all for using fun and games in class. Like he says, they're more likely to take note of things if they find them amusing. So look, here we go. I want you to imagine that, in fact, I'm going to just ask you the question. What can you see on the slide now? What can you see in front of you? Hopefully something. Yeah, exactly, Maria Belen. Perfect. Yeah, this is a syllabus. It's the contents of a course book, yeah, Natalia, but it's interesting who was that who said it first? What you said about the syllabus. Yeah, whether your school has got an extra syllabus or not, the more often than not, this is our syllabus for our course. It's the content of the book, but really it's also the syllabus. We may change the way we do things slightly, but basically this is our syllabus. So look, we're going to use this to play a game that I'm sure that you have played with your students before, but this is it in a different way. In fact, in Argentina, if you are there was somebody here from Mexico earlier on. I don't know if you're still here. It'd be interesting to know if there's people from other countries as well, because I'd really like to know if this game that we're about to play is called the same in other countries as it is in Argentina. In Argentina, it's called Tutti Frutti, or Tutti Frutti, pardon my terrible pronunciation. I don't know if we call it the same in other countries. And in England, we call it Stop the Bus. Apparently, I was only told that the other day, actually, that we call it Stop the Bus. But, and if you've not played it before with your students, in Uruguay, La Pulga. Really? Mercadito. Oh my God. Really? It's called La Pulga, and that's very interesting. How fascinating. I wonder why. Okay. Well, I know there's different expressions between Argentina and Uruguay. Anyway, we can talk about that another time. So the idea is, as you know, if you've played this with your students before, that you have different categories. Here I've put countries, parts of the body, food, places in town, films, and TV. But where did I get those categories from? I didn't invent those categories. Where do you think I got those categories from? Exactly, Maria Agostina. Yes, I did. Yeah, and Maria Belen. Yeah, from the syllabus. From the vocabulary section, from the contents page of the book. You got it in one. So the idea is that instead of, with this game, which we're going to play in 1 second, instead of coming up with random categories, which, yes, I don't know, cities or sports or things like that, actually taking them from the course book. Because I really like what Natalia's just said, lexical fields from with many course books, obviously they will all introduce vocabulary, but in most of the course books, like with this one with phases, there is a specific vocabulary section with which the students can check each unit what the vocabulary was. And of course, like Natalia says, it's all divided into lexical fields. And in this case, countries, parts of the body, food, places in town, films, and TV. Anyway, this is a really good way of revising very competitively as a learning strategy vocabulary from your course book. So that's what we're going to do. And by the way, I'm going to recommend that you use an app for this. Instead of randomly coming up with a letter, I'm going to show you an app now. Here it is. It's called Randomizer, the app. I'm going to show it so that you can see it, Randomizer. And the idea is that you've got dice rolls, etc., but you've also got, it will also come up with it will generate a totally random letter for you. I'm going to press this button in a minute and it's going to generate a totally random letter for me. So, you ready, guys? This is going to be our last activity before we say goodbye. So, you've got countries, parts of the body, food, places in town, films and TV, and your first letter is T. Go for it. One for each, please. Your first letter is T. Countries, parts of bodies, food, places in town, films, and TV. Your first letter is T. You need to put a word in those 5 categories. This is our last activity for this webinar, sadly. Wow, look, my goodness, that was quick. Maria Agustina. Thailand, toe, toast, town hall, Titanic. Boom. Great. I'm going to read the others as well. Thailand, toe, tea, tower, Treasure Island. Treasure Island, it must be a film. Must be a film, Maria Belen. Thailand, toe, tacos, theatre, The Simpsons. Thailand, everyone likes Thailand. Oh, apart from Amalia's gone for turkey toast, tomato theatre, Titanic. The Crown, good. Good choice. The Crown, Titanic. Great, good, love it. Okay, so look, guys. I would do this again with you, but we're out of time. I'm afraid to say. So it just remains for me to check with you how much you remember of our mnemonic. All right. Just before we go. Before Macmillan tell me to stop, just before we go, I'm going to see how much you remember of the mnemonic, okay? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to read it to you again with the clapping, and I want you to fill in the missing words, okay? Here we go. A noun is a name of things that exist, like sheep, banana, or... Very good. Good. Adjectives are words that describe the... something. I'm going to let you type as I go. Noun, it was noun. Very good, Roxana. So adjectives are words that describe a noun, the noun, like Taylor, that's a sound. Horrible, very good, very good. Verbs are actions being done when Taylor sings so much fun. Great, wow, boom. All right, last one. Yes, fun. And adverbs show how things act up. She sings well, Alastair, so please shut up. Very good. Perfect. Good. You remembered the mnemonic. I told you it would work, the silent mental drilling. Okay, so look, guys, those were, just to finish, Rebecca Oxford 6 L2 learning strategies: cognitive, mnemonic, metacognitive, compensatory, social, and affective. And these are all of these things are, I've tried them all with students in class. They've been very, very useful for them. These are my contact details in case you'd like any more information.